These are the best setups for the Deimos Workshop of Brilliant Light. Let's talk about it. What's good, YouTube? NoGoodEman coming to you today with the best setups for each floor in the new Deimos WOBO. So guys, now that I've played both WOBOs, and honestly I played with the light meta, I played with the fire meta, so honestly I can give the conclusive best arguments for the best metas to run on each and every floor. We're gonna talk best strategies, we're gonna talk even tips and strats. But guys, before we talk a single thing, make sure you guys leave a like on the video. If you're new, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications so you don't miss a live or an upload. Now honestly, we got to talk about this because the Deimos WOBO thoroughly shocked me, especially at the normal variant, because guys, what shocks me is that at normal, Deimos is not a weak boss at all. It's starting off with a million CP, so a lot of players are actually playing out right now and not defeating Deimos. So with that, we actually have to drop this guide as soon as possible. So here are my suggestions. Obviously you guys get to play out easy and normal mode the first time for free, but from there, let's go ahead and talk about the first boss you're gonna face. We're talking about the hunter mode. We're talking about the LICH, the master of Twilight. So when it came to this, guys, honestly, I did start off with my light team. I started off with Shimizu Akari, I started off with Gogen He and Thomas Andre. Now here's what I'll say: the light team actually does very, very well here, but in Workshop of Brilliant Light, while the weakness is light and fire, there definitely is a preference. And what do I mean when I say there's a preference? Well, a lot of these bosses, they have high scaling defense, they have concurrent defense, they have times where their defense is going to get even higher. So with that, the light team actually has no type of defensive penetration embedded into their kit. While the light team can do a good amount of DPS, a good amount of light damage increase to targets, I do want to note that the fire team is actually the better meta to be running here. So I ran it first with Thomas Andre, Gogen He, and Shimizu Akari, and I did say very, very good returns. But the second I put out Essel, Yuso, Hyun, and Gina, it was literally a nuke, guys. So that's what I'll say there. Definitely, I'll show you the artifacts that I do have on both teams at the end of the video, but let's go ahead and move on over. What I will say is that I did both runs with no blessings, but as always, guys, the blessings really don't change all too much. Good blessings that you always want to aim for are going to be blessings that's going to increase the damage to your targets, that's going to decrease your target's defense, especially in this one. I think decreasing your target's defense in this game mode, this Workshop of Brilliant Light, is especially important, and then something that can increase attack as well. Now the LICH has two gimmicks. The first one's gonna be around 70%. How that basically works is that he's gonna spawn a bunch of orbs around, and basically you want to go to the green orb. That's gonna happen 3 different times, and then in the third time that's gonna put them in the break state. And then the next gimmick is going to be when you have to lead your player with all 6 purple eyeballs. Basically the boss is going to attack with like a green Kamehameha, and we basically have to lead them to destroy each and every one of the 6 purple eyeballs, and then that's going to put them in the break state. So make sure you do that. I do think that there's going to be a lot of damage if you fail to do that properly, so you don't want any of your hunters to die, so play that out as perfectly as you can, and then the boss should be defeated. Now the second you finish that boss, you have the ability to actually bang out with Deimos immediately. Now the first Deimos battle, he's going to be on horseback, so you're going to be fighting him a little bit interestingly. You will fight him with Sunjinu to start. My first initial lineup was Isla Wright, Lee Bora, and not Thomas Andre, but Gogen He. This was an interesting team because honestly, Deimos absorbs dark damage, so really you don't want to run light weapons. You don't even want to run light skills, or not light weapons. You don't want to run dark weapons, dark skills, or dark hunters. But if you do have at least Plum, I do think that's still worth running in its own right. But from there, I do think that a better team that I did end up running was the team of me, Gogen He, and Shimizu Akari. Honestly, an insane trio. This trio saw the best amount of DPS in my personal Sunjinu runs, so that is probably the best supports that I can recommend to you guys. I think you guys should run these 3 support characters, and you will definitely utilize them in the best of those ways. Now, I'm not gonna lie, Deimos is probably gonna be one of the most annoying bosses you will face this entire year, guys. He is super agile, he's moving around so much, and with that, honestly, there's a bunch of weapons you could definitely bring here. The first weapon that I did start off with was the Phoenix Soul, and honestly, I don't recommend it. I'm gonna be real, guys. Deimos honestly is a little too agile, a little bit hard, but the other weapon that I did opt for was the Divine Quarterstaff. And honestly, that's a riskier weapon to be using, but if you are skill-based, you can see a lot of good returns if you are hitting that staff skill. If you have the staff skill maxed out to where you can charge it up to 500%, then you can insurably see a good amount of DPS each time you do maximize those hits. But the fire bow honestly just barely got me there. I don't even think I was able to clear it with the Phoenix Soul, which was a little bit disappointing. But once the fire fan comes out in about a week, I do think that that's probably going to be a better weapon to pair with the Phoenix Soul. So definitely we're gonna have to wait and see. The Phoenix Soul isn't out just yet. I think it's a little bit weird that the devs did not release the fire fan out just yet, but with that, I do think that the best pairing that you guys can run here will be multi-shadow strike out of armor break. That's a light breaking skill. I did run the dagger rush from electric shock. That was another good DPS based skill, and then I did pair that with the plum sword and the divine quarterstaff. So maxed out weapons showed maxed out returns, and then the boy Deimos was down. And I'll say honestly, the horseback Deimos doesn't have too many crazy gimmicks. While he will get a few iframes and kind of disappear, it's pretty standard, pretty simple. You just got to get used to his disappearing. You got to get used to his kind of just reappearing, kicking around, and get used to his new AI, because I definitely missed a lot of extreme evasion chances. So with that, play out Deimos, get used to his AI, and then you should be good to go when you are playing him out. And then once you guys finally beat that Deimos on horseback, he's actually gonna get a little bit serious, get off the horse, and then really want to bang out for real. So this Deimos honestly is way harder, is probably the hardest variant of Deimos you're going to face. So final boss Deimos, when he's on 2 feet, is probably gonna be the worst variant of Deimos that you guys do not want to battle, okay? Because this guy is super agile. This man disappears, reappears. He gets so many iframes. He does a lot. His break state barely even lasts like 2 seconds. He has the quickest break state in the game. So don't think you're gonna take advantage of every break state that you get. You're actually gonna have to play very fast and very aggressive, really. So with that, please look forward to just, I guess, barraging Deimos. You definitely have to go into Deimos fight with some bit of strategy. If you don't go in there with any strategy at all, you're gonna be cooked, because as soon as you get him below a certain percent, he's gonna summon his Eyes of the Threshold. So with that, you want to stop basically all these eyeballs from reaching Deimos, or else he's going to gain a bunch of power, probably do a big attack, and get a lot of there. So the best thing that I could suggest there is probably just popping ultimates. I think getting a dash and then popping your ultimate will take care of a good amount of eyes there, and that was what I was able to do. So through that, you can do whatever you like. Of course, I kind of always messed up on there, and I don't think that my ultimate even killed all the eyeballs at once, but from there he'll be in another break state, so you gotta just basically fight him some more. And then once you get him below 70%, you're gonna have to find the portal and hide. How this is basically gonna work is kind of gonna work like a Kang move, or like a Baron Kang move, or just like a Kang move really, but instead of perfectly dodging at a certain interval, the map is going to show you 3 purple gates, and you basically have to go to each gate to be safe from the big hit that Deimos is going to do. And if you don't dodge, or if you don't get into the gates properly or at the allocated time, then you will see a good amount of DPS to your Sanjinu. You might end up dying on accident, and then from there, Deimos will be put into the break state. You know what's funny is that he's going to be put into a break state even if you don't properly hide in the portal. So regardless, you're going to get a lot of break states with Deimos, so keep that in mind. From there, just go ahead, get the DPS going. Deimos is honestly an insane boss. Keep in mind, he's getting a lot of high defensive stacks. He's getting a lot of damage reduction. So Deimos, while he will seem like an easy boss to start, he actually will keep a lot of his HP until the end. So from there, when you get him around 50% HP, he's going to spawn a bunch of green and red zones, and basically you want to treat this like a labyrinth or a maze, and you want to take cover inside the portal that appears a little bit after. When you guys take cover, you will be able to be free from probably a one-shot move. Let's be real, it's likely going to be a one-shot move, otherwise taking cover would be pretty pointless, but I ended up just doing a bunch of damage with my Heavenly Staff, and you know, it's honestly a little bit hard because I think Heavenly Order does activate a little bit, and it kind of gets a little glitchy when Deimos is just doing a bunch of AoE different attacks, and it was a little hard to start. I will be real, because again, this is my first time playing Deimos, and Deimos honestly, he thoroughly shocks me as a boss, I can't lie. But from there, guys, Deimos eventually does spawn in a random boss, and you don't even kind of realize it, but if you do realize it, I suggest that you do kill that boss as soon as you can, because it's kind of a thorn in your side. They'll probably just be shooting a bunch of AoE attacks at you from just all different angles. So kill those bosses as soon as you can, and then when you do kill those bosses around 30%, for some reason, Deimos's break gauge does come back, so that is something to note. He's also going to go in his berserk mode. So from there, I do break his gauge pretty much faster because he has a very small break gauge. So that being said, you will at least need multi-shadow strike. I think multi-shadow strike is very good to bring because it also will increase your defense, so your Sun Jinwoo won't die, as my Sun Jinwoo almost died a variety of times. So definitely you need multi-shadow strike. I think you could also do well with Sonic Stream on light if you have that at legendary, and then electric shock on legendary is also a very good skill to bring. And then I'm not saying that these are, you know, the only weapons you can run, but it's definitely going to be some of the best weapons you can run. So hopefully, guys, you are able to beat Deimos. Hopefully you're able to put him down. And then last but not least, we got Hunter Mode Deimos. What I will say though, that the Hunter modes in Workshop of Brilliant Light Deimos are very easier than the Sun Jinwoo modes. And if you disagree, just go ahead and comment now. I personally felt like I had a way easier time. Maybe it's because of the advancements, but definitely I have high advancements on my Sun Jinwoo weapons and things like that. But with that, Thomas Andre, Yuso Hyun, whoever you like can honestly bang out with Deimos. So that's honestly a good thing to know, that, you know, if you do have a maxed out Thomas Andre, you can bring him to the WOBL Deimos and you can see good returns. And now, something to note is that, again, we're talking about defensive scaling, defensive penetration, things like that. That matters just a little bit more here. So if you want to beat Deimos fast, or if you want the meta for beating Deimos, it's gonna be your fire team. Not gonna lie, guys, you definitely want to utilize that fire team, and then you will be able to just smack on Deimos an insane amount of time. So from there, he honestly does almost the same exact moves that you will see on the Sun Jinwoo side. So I'm not really going to talk through the exact same skill set that Deimos does have, but again, good tips that I can give is probably starting to look at Essel, because a lot of people might be trying to skip her, but I'm gonna be real, guys. We're not even seeing the full force of the fire meta just yet. I'm hearing Kane is going to be an insane fire DPS. So with Essel coming out and Essel being already as broken as she is, what are you waiting for to pull the trigger on that fire meta? I do think that the fire meta is going to be insane. So I do want to show you guys my personal Sun Jinwoo, my personal Hunter, so you can kind of see what I was rocking with. So as far as my Sun Jinwoo, he's right here. If I show you his skill tree, he's getting 200 intelligence, 122 on the precision, and then 362 on the attack. That allocates him this stat pool right here with 99 precision, 38k attack, 50% crit rate, 173 on the damage, a good amount of defensive penetration and damage increase. We're getting the light bracelet damage for our divine quarterstaff. As far as the artifacts, 4-piece greed, not 4-piece greed, 4-piece curse, and then 4-piece beast, of course. And then from there, the cores also did boost his attack. He had a critical hit damage core, I believe it was this one that's on Yuso Hyun currently. And then we were able to rock out with Bloodlust, Pulverize, Reawakening, and Into It. Hunter side of things, my girl Gina rocked 8-piece Burning Blessing, and then Yuso Hyun rocked 4-piece Curse with 4-piece Obsidian. And then for Essel, we ended up throwing on 8-piece Greed. 8-piece Greed is very good. Now for my light team, I ended up throwing on 8-piece Greed for Gogen Hee. For Thomas Andre, he saw 4-piece Curse, 4-piece Obsidian. And then for my boy Mean, or really for Shimizu Akari, she ran 4-piece one-hit kill and then 4-piece Obsidian. And then honestly, I might sub this for a 4-piece Peridot for that long drawn out battle if I was going to run Shimizu Akari with my light team against Deimos. With that, go ahead, do whatever you like. Of course, it's your own account, my own account is my own, your account is your own. So with that, what do you guys think of the workshop of Brilliant Light? Go ahead and leave your thoughts, theories, and comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications. With that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Y'all take care. Peace.